And we are live. So welcome any and all to the Irreverent Skeptics Hangout. I'm John Obie. He is Brandon Madison.
Hi.
And the Mike Bowler of Skeptic's Guide to Conspiracy Theories.
Howdy.
Without the theories. I just had to throw that in there.
Hypothesis.
Conspiracy hypothesis.
Just a theory.
Today it's lightning conspiracy talks. And on that note, I have my fluoridated tap water, so I will be under mind control, but I'll have healthy teeth.
Right. I've heard that can cause sterility. Watch out.
Uh-oh. If the vasectomy didn't do it, it sure will.
Oh my God. And on that note, I'm having a drink. Speaking of mind control drugs, I'm having a Smirnoff Ice screwdriver because even if it's not 5 o'clock somewhere, I'm not modeling behavior for anyone. So there we go.
Okay. I'm just sticking to my coffee.
Also a nice mind control drug.
Hey, is there a good coffee conspiracy? There has to be.
Probably. I have to look for it.
I always thought that would be my kind of terrorism, is that's one act of terrorism. If somehow someone could interrupt the supply chain of coffee to this country, it would grind to a headachy halt.
That might be a good idea for a novel. Why don't you could work on that?
Yeah, I have to learn about coffee supply chains, but we don't really grow that here in these United States. So if you could interrupt it, theoretically there must be a bottleneck of it somewhere.
How about this? Grind Stop, the new terror. What do you think? It's a working progress. It's a
working title.
That's right.
And by that I mean I'm not working on it yet.
All right, so we should have a couple more people joining us shortly. We'll just roll on until they get here. So, lightning conspiracy. Speaking of lightning conspiracies, I did that backwards on purpose. So, how about that harp?
How about that harp?
Well, it's shut down now, officially. So I guess it's no longer a worry, right?
It's not supposed to be. But that doesn't stop anybody.
I don't know what that is. You guys need to explain some stuff. I missed something.
Oh, harp is the, I don't want to misquote, so let me...
the high altitude, AR...
High frequency active oral research program.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people claim is a government cover for weather control.
Oh, that's how Obama does the chemtrails.
Wait, let me rephrase that. Or as we all know, is a cover for weather control.
Oh.
Well, then I'm really angry, having grown up in Michigan, that someone could control the weather and that's how I had to live. Seriously? I have a lot more to be angry about than you do, John.
What, really? Seriously?
No,
like,
okay, minus the tornado, minus that huge
tornado. Living up on the city, our city gets knocked down every couple of years. That's the thing, I guess now, since we're the most red state in the country and now Obama's president, then yeah, so he's mad at Oklahoma, so he knocks down more. I guess it makes sense. I'm sold.
I grew up during the Reagan administration, so that does explain the Michigan weather. Who goes to hunt for Easter eggs in the snow? I'm just saying.
We got two more people jumped in with us. Dumbass is here.
Hey. I'm not sure who that is, so hey.
Everybody just waves at the same time.
When you say dumbass, I automatically assume you're not talking to me.
Hi.
That's probably not as safe as Olsen, though, is it?
And Carlton George is with us. Hey, Carlton.
Hey,
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good. We're doing our conspiracy lightning talk. So if you have a favorite conspiracy theory or something like that, just throw it out there and we'll take a minute to talk about it. We were just discussing how HAARP was supposedly shut down now. So.
Oh, what's shut down?
HAARP, the weather control program, as we all know.
I know because he said something about it 30 seconds ago.
Right. Whatever it takes.
Right.
I thought the gays controlled the weather.
That would explain San Francisco, I have to say. Just on its face, that would explain San Francisco. They have lovely weather there.
Okay, I could twist that into that's why we have so many rainbows after showers here in Oklahoma, because it's the gays trying to make people more happy and less conservative. It all works out.
It doesn't work out. You're still a red state. It does not work.
Or closeted conservatives, maybe like, oh, I can't tell anyone that I like to.
Well, I know at least they cause hurricanes.
Which is why they have so many hurricanes in San Francisco. That explains a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a fabulous joke here. I've lost it.
You have nothing.
I got nothing for this. All right, so Mike, since you have the conspiracy theory podcast, you tell us what your favorite or a few of your favorite conspiracies are.
Oh, where to start? Well, I'm working on the Kennedy stuff, and I'm finding, and actually it's going to be not in this upcoming episode, but the following episode, there's a lot of funny these little side conspiracies, like I guess the Australian, there's a Australian documentary coming out about the possibility of a Secret Service agent actually may have been the second shooter. I'm kind of just starting to dig into it, but it's like, for some reason, the guy that was driving the car turned around and was able to fire his AR-15. And I'm like, and there's a guy who actually believes that was somehow it's, I don't know, it's somehow that's this grassy knoll shooter. Of course, whatever. It's so convoluted, and it's makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. So I'm having kind of fun with that one, trying to decipher what this guy's thinking about.
I found a link the other day to a documentary that supposedly points to Lyndon Johnson being involved and having sanctioned the assassination of.
Yeah, that's another one. This
was the first for me. That was one I hadn't heard. I was like, oh, okay. It's the mafia, Cubans, Lyndon Johnson.
You want to be president, right? Is that simple, or am I being simple?
I didn't watch it, so I don't know what the.
Then would that be like
what the conclusion is?
Is because he was number 2? He didn't seem to be that eager to be the top guy, to be honest with you.
Well, I think it had something to do with Kennedy's civil rights push, yeah. And which is kind of weird because, I mean, Johnson kind of continued those programs on, and it's like, okay, that's not making sense, but for some reason, because Johnson was a Southern Democrat, I don't know, trying to buy votes or try to recover what was lost. I don't know. Again, that's another one that just does not make sense at all to me.
Fractal wrongness. A study in fractal wrongness.
Yeah.
Oh, the only conspiracy theory that I've heard recently, and I'm not sure if it's an official conspiracy theory. I'm not sure what makes a conspiracy theory official, but is the idea that the theists on Twitter actually have some evidence for God. I think that's a theory we could probably dismiss pretty quickly, but I spent 4 hours last night with G-Man, and I still have a headache to show for it.
What is a G-Man? I'm afraid to ask you.
Well, yeah, if you go on YouTube and just look G-Man, he's I don't want to say he's a kid. I guess he's probably in his maybe late 20s, early 30s. Christian right wing, but doesn't seem to really know. He has a moderate amount of knowledge about his own faith, about Christianity, not a lot. But he's one of those. He portends to have conversations with atheists. He brings on 4 or 5 atheists like last night, and they always start the same. They always start very civil, where each person will go through, ask a question, everybody will go through and kind of give their starting position, and it always ends up the same, which is him literally like this, holding a Bible up and screaming Bible verses at everybody else and talking over them, and then claiming afterwards it was a clear win and the atheists didn't have a clue.
And I can go and see this? They're recorded like this one is?
4 hours worth last night. Feel free. I can give you a link if you really want one.
Take that, doubters.
Yeah, I want to see some of it. I probably can't sit through 4 hours of it without bursting a blood vessel.
I didn't either. I think I got to about 3 hours and 15, and I just clicked off because it turned into a shouting match. Yeah, the problem, and it's not just him, but his in particular, is he doesn't, he doesn't, he does one of three things. He either doesn't answer the question that's directed at him specifically, he just sort of wanders, or he misrepresents what the question was as part of his answer, so then people start shouting over him to correct themselves. Or he doesn't understand the implications of the question. So sometimes you'll ask him a question, and he laughs it off and says, "Well, that's just stupid," and how would that affect anybody? But he doesn't really understand what it implies if the question happens to be true or false. So, it's fun for him every now and then. But yeah, he's got a whole bunch of videos on there. He must have nothing to do but make videos.
About an hour ago, Jesus M. Christ tweeted, "I died for your sins, but not the weird ones like doorknob humping and lighting kittens on fire."
Now that's cute.
At least he's being a little more. At least he's clarifying. So
yeah, looks like I'm going
credit for that.
I'm not going to tell you why.
If you don't know why I'm going to hell, email me and I will send you a list.
Oh, I have quite the list off the top of my head alone. Like today, just what I've done today alone would be enough. The mixed fibers, we'll start there.
So we have two questions in the Q&A section.
Already?
Yeah, all right, that was quick, wasn't it? Tan Tyrus asked, 1 + 1 equals what? It's subjective, figure it out.
5. I've read 1984. What?
Well, I think for large values of 1,
could be 3.
It could be 3, exactly.
And Valentin Collet says, "Bonjour tout le monde. Est-ce que vous parlez français?" No, obviously not.
No parley about Francis for you.
Nobody speaks French here. Sorry.
I used to be fluent in French.
Oh.
That simple bungle up of that sentence right there should tell you everything you need to know.
I can get through a little Spanish if we need to, but that's about it.
Is dumbass in French Dumas? What's dumbass? It's pronounced Dumas.
All right, so Brandy, your favorite conspiracy?
Oh my gosh, come back to me, because you know what? No, I got it. The whole GMO thing, since it came up for vote in the past few days, that has just revived my absolute hatred, because of course I listen to a lot of fun lefty such programming, and they were up in arms that I can't believe, even Rachel Maddow can't believe people don't want to know what's in their food. And I'm thinking, a problem of demarcation, that's all I could say. The problem of demarcation, folks. Like, I just couldn't believe it. My lefty podcast universe was just inundated with, these people are crazy for not wanting to know what's in their food. So, yeah, the idea that we need to label that there's this conspiracy from outside money to make sure we don't know what's in our food, that's got to be my favorite. Because it impacts my life. As a diabetic, they can't properly label the sugar content of things or the carb content of things. The idea that people are out to get us via the whole GMO thing, that's my new favorite thing to hate.
I saw Stephen Colbert talking about this the other night, and I was a little disappointed at I thought he got it kind of wrong.
Well, I didn't see that one yet. Was it good, though?
It was a good episode, I guess. I just, he went on about the GMO stuff, and he seemed to be on the side of wanting labeling, making fun of the people who didn't, and so I thought he got that kind of wrong.
Yep, my whole podosphere was like that pretty much this last week, so yeah, there's that.
There you go, Brandy. I put the link up there in the chat for you.
Thank you, and also, what have I ever done to you? Just saying.
Yeah. No.
I did want to see it, but I will at least watch part of it.
Recently, someone shared with me a few links to blogs by someone known as the Food Babe, and Food Babe is apparently a stay-at-home mom who's decided that she alone is taking up the fight for labeling GMOs, for removing any kind of processed foods from everyone's diet, because, as we all know, processed plants will kill you or something. I don't know. So,
is she a mommy blogger? Those people are awesome. They're experts at that.
Well, GMOs and artificial sweeteners cause ADHD and a number of other ailments, apparently.
That would explain a lot.
Yeah.
There was some arguing on Twitter this week about, I won't mention their names, but at the extreme, I guess they were PETA people, right? Pet people. Can a member of PETA actually be pro-life? Was the question that they were bandering around.
PETA, the PETA people, those
Yep.
people?
Yeah. Can you actually be a member of that and be pro-life? If you're against killing animals for any reason, certainly a fetus is an animal, if nothing else. So,
Kind of a parasite, really, I guess.
yeah, but it's still alive. It's still an animal.
That's kind of a complicated question. You can be a member of PETA without being, I would think, without being deeply embedded in the organization, and you could be like, oh, I'm all about not killing animals, whereas PETA itself, the organization, advocates the killing of some animals to reduce domestication of animals. They run kill centers for stray animals that are picked up. Kill quite a number of them every year.
I wasn't aware of that.
That was something I found out a couple of years ago, reading a lot about PETA. I was like, whoa, how about this number? I will say it is an interesting organization for sure. The idea of humane treatment of animals is something that I'm very much an advocate of. PETA's methodology and some of their beliefs are certainly outside of the scope of my beliefs and not within reason as I see it.
The word fringe comes to mind. Like, they have a very vocal fringe.
Well, yeah, I mean, I had one person that's been following me for a while, and when I chimed in, they immediately stopped following me, which I know I was devastated.
Clearly.
Yeah, you can see I lost some sleep. But yeah, I mean, basically, I said, I think, I'm kind of like you. I said, I have no problem with people wanting to treat animals ethically, whatever that constitutes. I said, but then again, I do enjoy a good lamb chop every now and then. So, I mean, what do you want? I mean, we're omnivores, so.
I'm a shamefaced omnivore.
Really?
I enjoy the lamb chop, but I feel terrible about it, I have to say. I avoid the veal as much as possible, but it is like the most delicious thing ever.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel bad enough about it to not eat it, so.
Yeah, I do most of the time. That's like maybe a 3 times in life kind of thing. That was harder living in Detroit, though, with Arabic food because they have good, delicious lamb everywhere you go.
Yeah, exactly. We've got a great Greek restaurant. They have a Greek night with belly dancing and everything, and they make just the most incredible lamb chops.
I was never a fan of lamb myself. It has a strong flavor to it that
it can.
I can eat just a little bit of it, and then after that, I was like, no, I'm done. And I don't eat any of it. But back in the day, it was something that I was never.
No, I've noticed that too. Some lamb seems to have a really strong, gamey flavor, and then some lamb doesn't. So go figure. I don't know what the secret is.
The Arabic stuff is really mild. It's more like, I don't even know how to describe it, beef-ish.
The thing about eating animals is that it's kind of a tough question because you got to draw a line somewhere because of what you consider an animal that's okay to eat and what's not okay to eat. And I guess there's a scale, a very rough scale anyway, but I mean, people eat insects and very few people are concerned about killing one of them. And I guess you go up the scale, a few people are concerned about fish. Whether their lives are important enough that we want to not eat them. I don't think anybody thinks that a fish's life is all that worthwhile in and of itself. And it's a complicated question that bears some thinking on, I guess, what animals you would consider to be of that category that they're of a high enough order, I guess, that you don't want to eat them.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what the criteria is to, for example, what makes it okay to eat a shark and not okay to eat a dolphin? It's a mammal, obviously, but still, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they all swim in the ocean, have fins, and what makes one better than the other, or okay, and the other one's not?
I have kind of an arbitrary line that I've played with the dolphins, so I have a fondness for them that is, like that I would have for a dog.
Yeah, so flipper, you don't want to see. Yeah.
They're sweet, they're friendly, they actually care about human attention, but none of those are really legitimate reasons, but they're just kind of my own personal, I have been friends with a dolphin temporarily, and it was wonderful.
So with conspiracy theories, and I don't know much about, I mean, I know the concept, but Mike, are conspiracy theories falling by the wayside? In other words, are there less and less of them now than there were maybe 10, 20 years ago, or before the internet really took off, when there really wasn't a way to do good fact checking?
Well, it's kind of taken off, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, because with the internet, you can put whatever crazy idea you have, and I mean, I've seen everything from the classics, at JFK. I've seen 9/11. I mean, 9/11. I mean, if it wasn't for the internet, I don't think anyone would even think some of the stuff with 9/11. With the that it was a conspiracy. I mean, and it's also given a chance for people who had different ideas to come together and says, oh yeah, my conspiracy kind of fits with your conspiracy. Let's smash them all together and make one bigger one.
Huh.
So it's so really, I think, and I mean, I've gone through some of the rock and roll conspiracies. I mean, there's stuff I didn't realize there was that Jimi Hendrix his death was a conspiracy.
What?
Oh yeah. There was something about just the way it was handled, and it's all anomaly hunting. So they like with Hendrix, I forget what it was. I did a show on it. I should have it remembered, but it was that he had. I don't know if he or no was that Morrison, Jim Morrison. He had overdosed, but the girlfriend took off. And then there was like the girlfriend had one story, the police had a different story. All of a sudden, boom, you got a conspiracy.
Is there anything to any of the conspiracies, in your opinion, Mike? Do they ever stumble on the truth? Ever?
Oh, that's a really good question.
They ignore it. They ignore. Now, we have to separate though. Make sure because there are real conspiracies out there, and actually with this NSA stuff, that used to be a conspiracy theory, and now we're starting to find out. Wait a minute. The NSA really was tapping into our phones or really doing stuff to us. So, so I've had to be very careful. I've been very careful trying to figure out, okay, so how much of this is real and how much of it is make believe. And it's like a lot of stuff, like within the in the JFK, I'm finding the Cuban connection may have been kind of make believe. I mean, they were making really loose connections. I thought the Cubans themselves was involved with it, but Cuba keeps playing into the mafia's connection, which I'm going to do my next show on. It looks like the mafia was really big. Well, they'd run all the casinos in Havana. They got kicked out when Castro took over. So there's a lot of motivation but why kill Kennedy when you could kill Castro type of thing? Why would the mafia be interested in killing Kennedy over this? So I'm plowing through these old details, and I mean, and so it's almost like, I'm trying. When you look at it. What am I trying to get at here? It's a lot of times. I mean, for the real conspiracy theory, the real major ones, they pretty much ignore anything factual, or they'll rely on things that have been kind of debunked already. The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. That's supposed to be the blueprint for the Jewish takeover of the world, and it was proved to be it was determined to be plagiarized. It was from a French play, 1880s, and they turned, and apparently the Russian secret police under the Tsar had created the protocols and then leaked it into the various governments or the various countries. It was determined later to be a direct plagiarize of an earlier play, but everyone still relies upon the protocols as the reason why we have a Federal Reserve, we have all this kind of stuff, so it's a lot of times they got to kind of ignore the truth, they have to ignore it, or they gotta or ignore the or I don't know.
Well, yeah. So it seems like the conspiracy guys, then, regardless. I mean, even if you take the space alien conspiracy or Roswell conspiracies, seems like even if tomorrow a spaceship did appear, with little gray men inside, it seems like the conspiracy theorists still shouldn't get credit for that. I mean, the fact that they were stupid and stumbled on something that turned out happened to be right. I mean, it's. Yeah, they can't come back, but I'm sure they will come back later and say, "See, told you so."
But don't you see, they didn't stumble on it; they knew all along.
They knew all along. Yes.
Yeah.
Speaking of the internet's effect on conspiracy theories, something I've noticed, I think what's going on is that there are far fewer of the big conspiracy theories that gain a lot of attention, and I think the conspiracy theory world is more fragmented these days. There are a lot more tiny conspiracies and variations on conspiracies that are fleshed out among themselves, and nobody. I think when everybody's putting their opinion out there, and like before the internet, people had to write books, and people would read those books, and that's how the conspiracies would spread, and there would only be a few people writing books on that, and their ideas would become the main big ones.
Well, I think that I think if you take a step back too, I think the ultimate conspiracy theory obviously is some organization like UNESCO or United Nations actually is seeding countries with people to propagate various conspiracies to keep us all occupied, so none of us really learn the truth.
Wow, is that convoluted?
Right. So the conspiracy theorists are actually part of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
That's a standard rap what they give for us debunkers. You're part of if you're not you're part of the conspiracy because you're trying to debunk the conspiracy.
Yeah.
So
I was actually just having a conversation with a friend of mine on Facebook who calls himself a global warming skeptic, but he's the not so much skeptic who he keeps bringing up ClimateGate and how there's all these emails that seem to show all this wrongdoing, and I point out to him that half a dozen independent studies, 3 in the U.S. and 3 in the U.K., have said there's no scientific wrongdoing going on here, and he says, well, that's awfully suspicious, isn't it? They just want to sweep it under the rug and keep it quiet. So.
No, that is just the trimming that happens to all data. As having done a little bit of research myself in my master's program, that is just normal trimming of the data. That's how that works. Those are all legitimate things to do.
So I asked him, how many independent confirmations do you have to have before you say, okay, these guys were legitimate? Or is it just that every single time somebody independently studies it and says nothing went wrong here, that's just adding on to the conspiracy? So.
John, why are you nameless and titleless? That's what I want to know. Is that BGS messing with you? What's going on?
It could be. I've been trying to fix that since we started.
Everyone else's name I see.
The snakes are clogging up his intertubes.
That's right.
Anybody else find the Google Plus Hangouts a little sarcastic, like the little air quotes as you're joining up is, yeah, we're connecting you.
Right. You're socializing.
Ironically, it's many of the Google things I can't use on my Google phone, which is kind of funny. If I use Hangouts on my Google phone, on my fancy little Android, it doesn't really work. Working is in quotes. It doesn't work.
This may still be in beta. Google has that thing about that, like everything's in beta for 8 years.
Don't worry, we'll improve it later.
Well, it does improve. I remember the first Hangout we did, and this is fantastic compared to that. The video is way better, and they do HD video now. The tools that are associated with it are far better. They have what we're doing now, the live streaming that records to YouTube. So they certainly improve it. It's just not evenly distributed when the improvements go out. Like the new Hangouts on the phones where you can do SMS on my phone, not working. I have that version, the option to do SMS, just not there.
See,
I was pitching a pitch about that this morning.
They need to fix Hangouts so that when you have a Hangout, you can go over to the chat window and just right-click on somebody's name and click Invite, and you're done with it. Instead of trying to chase them down, get an email, have them, everybody seems to have a different way to get those to you.
I don't know,
Seems like that should be straightforward.
as the organizer of the Hangout, I can invite people fairly easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone
What's
else
fairly
is.
easier? Fairly easily. What do you have to do?
Well, a new feature is there's just a button up here with the microphone video volume settings. That I just click on that to add people and type their name and hit submit, and it'll send an invite to them.
Oh, that's not too bad. Okay.
Yeah, and that's an improvement. Though the first couple of times we did this, I had to shut off any device that was running Hangouts, or else I wasn't able to send an invite to someone if this had already started. I have no idea what that was about. It would hang up, so I would turn off my phone, I'd turn off my tablet, and then close my browser with the exception of this, and then I could send someone an invite. They could jump in. It's certainly a work in progress.
Yep.
I can feel someone at Google right now going, "You don't pay for it, asshole."
Well then.
If I were there and heard the bitching, that's what I would say. It's like, "Oh yeah, how much did you pay for that feature?"
Just saying. I have used the Hangouts, the SMS feature though, all yesterday, and even though you're not using it or whatever, it was awesome. I got my little Hangout like, ding, let me know you replied and stuff. It was good. Might I suggest an upgrade? A phone.
I'm working on it.
Girlfriend.
So,
You know.
so I wonder if there are any Google conspiracies out there, because they seem to be.
Oh
really...
yes. What about the big barge? Isn't that some kind of thing?
Yeah.
What is? I don't understand what it is enough to be mad about it. What is that whole thing? I really don't understand. I just know they have a big thing and then no one knows what it is. That's what I heard last.
Yeah, it's a Borg barge. So.
I think Google thing has got to be. I've been watching the new Doctor Who's there recently. Watched the one with Atmos. You guys remember seeing that one? Aliens installed CO2 cleaning devices in all the cars on Earth, and then later, triggered them all to emit this gas into the atmosphere that was, for breeding more clones. Whatever. Behind. Yeah. So I'm thinking, that's probably what's going on with Hangouts. At some point, Google's going to trigger all those, and they're going to fry the PCs that they're on, start fires, and set the world ablaze.
I look forward to all
Damn you, Google.
Now that I've said that on here, I'm sure I'm not going to live to see tomorrow morning. But
I'm sorry.
My response to that would be the same as so many other conspiracy theories. Like, to what end exactly?
It was nice to see. It was nice knowing.
Population reduction, man. It's part of the NWO agenda.
I hope that's
my thing about the NWO and the Illuminati. Like, oh, the population control. They're killing people with the water, with air, or whatever. And I'm always like, if you kill everybody, then you kill everyone.
You can't control a planet with 7 billion people. You need to reduce the population to keep them, herdable. So.
The thing that I don't get about conspiracies is, the vast majority of them, revolve around some political organization, and at least the people in the circles that I'm aware of, people need to be intelligent. You need a group of intelligent people to orchestrate a conspiracy to actually make it work and be functional. And I'm thinking they're going to have a hard time finding 10 people.
So what you're saying is that science really is a conspiracy, then?
Yeah, that is a bunch of smart people.
Dun, dun, dun.
They're the only smart people around. That's right.
What about a group of smart asses? Because we have something going here.
Irreverent Skeptics. You're not going to repurpose this, are you? Johan wants you to,
I am well aware.
Reassure. I don't understand what he means by repurpose. I know what that word is. I don't know how one repurposes a Hangout. I want him to explain that to me.
Well, the idea that he's worried that, it's going to be like a published podcast, something like you get on your phone or something.
And then suddenly
I can't get this on my phone.
And then, anyway. Yeah, I'm not going down that road again.
Oh.
I just wanted to know what it meant. Now I understand.
That played a part in ruining one of my weekends. It's not going to ruin another. So.
Hey, I don't know how to turn this into a conspiracy theory. So, Mike, you might have to help me out here. But I did notice yesterday, just from a technology standpoint, Kingston came out with a new thumb drive, same size as the regular thumb drives, except it holds a terabyte of data.
Jesus.
Oh no! There's a 3 terabyte. Who is it? PNY, I think it is, has a 3 terabyte.
Do they have a 3 terabyte
release? It's not released yet, but there are models of it available.
That's impossible. My little Apple Wi-Fi station is half a terabyte, and I thought that was just monstrous. Oh my god, I could not believe it. It's like half a terabyte, and that thing is like this big.
Jeez.
I love it.
We live in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
did you
the
see
thing
that?
about one thing about conspiracy theories is a lot of the, especially really big, complicated conspiracy theories depend on a lot of people keeping an awful lot of secrets. And
Right.
what was it, Brandy, you said that John Gotti said about secrets?
3 people can keep a secret if 2 of them are dead.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. You get, even like a group this size, you get all of us have some big secret going on. Like by the end of the day, someone else is going to know about it. Like one of
So,
us is
John-
going to be like, so don't tell anybody about this, but like, that's
So,
how it
John,
works.
I gotta admit the truth to you now. Brandy and I are technically the same person, so it's
You would find
conspiracy.
such a hard time.
That explains why I find both of you so sexy.
You never have seen us in the same room literally at the same time. I'm just saying.
It's
You're
true.
never talking at the same time on here, I noticed. Yeah.
That's correct.
He throws his voice very well.
Yes, we do.
Sort of an
You know,
atheistic trinity minus one.
I've done a lot of
It's the atheistic trinity with a no pointer.
I've done a lot of looking at the ancient alien conspiracy theories, and
Yes.
one thing I've that always strikes me is, a lot of conspiracy theories, they've got these big secret societies and stuff that are controlling them, but here we've just got like big archaeology.
What?
Basically, the archaeologists are keeping this from us. They're, all of the archaeologists out there digging in stuff, they're the ones who are keeping the true facts of our history from us.
Yeah, man. Those archaeologists with their giant budgets and their worldwide control.
And their fancy pin helmets. Yeah, definitely.
But I always get a kick out of people who, there's always the conspiracies about how somebody is trying to keep you from learning something, and yet you're learning about this on the internet.
Yeah.
It's like, how are they preventing me from learning this again? They're not doing a very good job.
Yeah, exactly. Why are you people allowed to talk about it openly with your name and your face on TV? Yeah, that's right.
And not be, like, erased.
Insert every other Alex Jones show ever. This is what they don't want you to know, and yet here your loudmouth is blabbing about it on the radio.
Well, what was the infomercial guy stuff they don't want you to know? Cures they don't want you to know
Kevin
about?
Trudeau.
Yeah. He's
I
got a
think I
whole
remember he was going to prison,
Yeah, I
wasn't
was going to say, he's in jail now in Chicago or something.
Chicago,
Yeah.
Cognitive Dissonance was talking about it.
I'm very
I
happy
tweeted
about
a
that.
picture of a book that I was at the local grocery store, and I found they had like a book selection, and I found his latest book there, like deep discount, about ways to get free money they don't want you to know about, or something like that.
Is that Matthew Lesko? Or
Matthew
whatever his
Lesko, yeah.
name is?
Was one of them fencing goods?
you free money!
Fencing
Something like
stolen
that.
goods. They don't want you to know about that.
I confess, many years ago I bought one of Matt's books. Just had to check it out, see if I could get all that free money from the government.
There were some books similar to that I saw on TV once when I was probably 12 to 15 years old, and I was like, so I went down to the library to try and find it. No
I always
dice,
got confused by him.
Probably forgot about it.
I don't know. I always used to confuse him for the Riddler. Because he had that suit with all the question
Oh,
marks.
that
Oh, is that who the guy
I was going
was?
to ask you that.
Yeah.
Oh. I remember him on TV. Like, he just had to get money for college.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was, but I remember the Riddler outfit.
Yeah, I figured he was on his way to becoming a supervillain if this line of work didn't work out for him. So,
Someone
They already
posted-
had the whole
I tweeted
madness
a
thing
picture
going on.
of that book. It's I've got it here now. It's free money they don't want you to know about. And I tweeted, could it be any more obvious that Kevin Trudeau's just out to spread misinformation for a quick buck?
Right.
That's the free money they don't want you to know about. The free money he's getting.
Yeah, that's that guy is a very confusing person. I remember picking up one of his books in I don't know if it was a library or Barnes and Noble or something, but flipping through it, I found a section where he's talking about how you should try Scientology and Dianetics. So.
What?
Yeah.
And how did that go?
Yeah.
How many body thetans did you rid yourself of?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I just.
Wait, is that his weight loss plan? Get rid of all the body thetans there? What's
Yeah.
That's how I lost 130 pounds. Mm-hmm.
So
They
someone in
don't
the
have any
Q&A,
volume, but they have mass. So if you lose your body thetans, you'll slim down a little bit somehow. I think. I don't know.
Jose Shever in the Q&A said FDFY. I don't know. I've been googling that, trying to figure out if that's something like
Fix that for you.
FDFY.
VFY?
No,
D like dog.
Why am I not seeing the cue? Okay, there it is.
FY.
FDFY. I don't know what that means.
Fire
There's no
department
dog
for
in New
you.
York. Found this for you.
I don't know.
We have speed Googlers. I'm not even going to try to find it. So, by the way, Michael McElroy, awesome. Michelle Bachman, that fixed something in my soul. Oh my God, was that funny? If you guys haven't seen it, check out his feed. Oh my God. Or no, it was shared privately. So funny. So funny.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And he got my joke.
At first, I thought shared privately meant just to me. I was like, why would so-and-so send this just to me? That makes no sense. Like, oh.
Because we're the same person, duh.
Yeah, right.
Because both halves of you have to be on the same side. Like, your Jack and Tyler Durden have to be in sync once in a while.
I am Brandy's crushing disappointment.
You are my Michigander side. Yes. My mid-Michigan love of snow and ice and all things polar bear. Yeah.
All right, so has Michael, actually, I don't think we got your favorite conspiracy yet.
Oh, God. I don't know. There's so many conspiracies. It's any conspiracy where the opposition rises to the point of being called a denialist. You know, evolution or climate change.
Climate change.
Vaccines, those sort of vaccines. My God, I've gotten in so many arguments with people over the last few days over vaccines and climate change. There was somebody who said that vaccines aren't safe because they contain horse semen. I cannot even understand. I don't know where this comes from. Horse semen.
That comes from Rule 34 conspiracies.
1, that is not dangerous. 2, ew. 3,
And
that
entirely
is
serious. Entirely serious. Said that their what ingredients included monkey kidney cells, fetal stem cells.
So whose job is it to go out there and get the horse semen?
Oh, there's somebody who does that for a living. My friend in high school was saving up for secretariat semen because
Probably
she was
Monsanto.
and she was big into horses and stuff. She had horses, and she wanted a baby secretariat. And you would not believe how much money that goes for. You would not believe. That is someone's job for sure.
So is there somebody that steals horse semen, like creeps in at night with a little test tube and
it's not a little test tube. It's
Would that be the Midnight Jacker?
Well, look at it this way.
Yeah, come back out in the morning.
Stallions are put up for stud all the time, but they're not always making babies. So they've got to get rid of that sperm somehow.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and we've devolved to dick jokes.
Can you see the guy? Can you see the guy like next morning in some town in Montana, standing on the street corner trying to hawk these test tubes full of sperm?
Putting it on eBay.
No, they don't even bother with a test tube because they're just putting in vaccines anyway. And they
He's all free samples.
So it's just a giant plastic sack full of sperm.
Actually,
slung over his shoulder.
Next thing you know, it'll be horse semen brownies,
Oh my God! Ada goes to bed.
I just ate a brownie, so now I'm feeling
you guys need to look twice at any pastry that has frosting on it.
Anyone watching this now or later, we're not sorry.
No.
There'll be no apology cast to follow.
That's right. There's no apology. We're not
unapologetic skeptics. All right.
Well, Dirty Jobs did a show on semen collection for horses.
There you go.
Yeah, really?
They actually it was
good old
actually
Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking though. Going along the conspiracy line. It might be a good enterprise to start up. Would be collect that semen from the horses that win the races, win the Triple Crowns, whatever. Collect that and then market that to track and field runners. If they drink that, it'll help them run faster.
Boxers do.
That's sympathetic magic for you, man.
I'm sure you could sell that. I'm sure you could sell that.
Yeah, boxers do some version of that. Boxers will buy breast milk. They have this superstition that they think breast milk is like the perfect food, and therefore, I'm sorry about that, Carlton. You're drinking. They buy breast milk and they actually drink it under the superstition that it is the perfect food, and they buy breast milk from strangers. It blows my mind.
But probably you get that stuff to babies. It's got to be safe.
Well, so with your idea, if they did that but had suppositories instead, would you?
Oh God!
Well, you'd have to.
We're not going to go there.
If you're going to run, you have to do that the day before.
There was a doctor back in the early 20th century who performed a surgery on people where he implanted goat testicles into them. That was supposed to give them extra vitality.
Where were they implanted? I'm so afraid.
In their balls.
In Germany.
Well,
implanted Germany with goat testicles.
So
Why?
Now, well, here's what I want to know, though. All right? Okay. So if we do the semen suppository idea for the track and field runners, is the religious right going to have an issue with that? You know, because that's really
Yes.
blatant for gay. You know? And if not, why not?
Oh man.
Those are not Leviticus-friendly tablets.
Well, no, they're not. They're not having sex with the animals.
Yeah, you're not going to see.
Approved.
You're not going to see get your kosher suppositories over here anywhere. It's not happening.
How does that even work? Do you get a rabbi to bless the sperm? And
You have to pronounce the name of God when it comes, or I think people do that anyway, though, right?
Bum.
I mean, if you're
I put it on my second drink, folks.
yeah, I mean, if you breed racehorses and you're Jewish, and I know I'm going to get hate mail for this, but do you have to circumcise the horses as well?
Oh my God!
I don't think the horses are part of the tribe of Israel.
I don't know what to say to that.
I just had an image in my head of a horse wearing one of those yarmulkes and with a long beard.
Yeah, and they're not going to run real well the day after. I can guarantee that.
The palm thrown on the saddle.
God.
Oh, this went downhill fast.
Today I am a man.
Now I do apologize.
We're gonna get expelled.
This is just going to suddenly cut off.
Yeah, that's a bad word.
Cool, but to be like, enough, quick. Okay.
We're not cutting off anything.
Has everybody had a go with their favorite conspiracy now? Dumbass, did you tell us your favorite conspiracy yet?
Well, I kind of mentioned before I've got an actually big box here full of my research into ancient aliens conspiracy topics. So.
Do you like Eric Von Daniken or whatever his name is?
Who? Oh, Eric Von Daniken. Yeah, I've read a bunch of his stuff.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Is it the theories that are ancient, or is it the aliens that are ancient?
They're ancient and they're justified.
The aliens.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Justified.
My dad has an interesting take on the ancient aliens.
Really?
I was at their house and I was like, "Are you
At the
really
Ancient
watching
Aliens
this, or
house?
does it just happen to be on?" And he's like, "Oh no, I like this show." I was like, "Oh, it's like, okay." It's like, "What's that about?" I was like, "Is it just entertaining?" "Well, no, I think they're really good ideas." Like, so you think this is a thing? Well, there's no proof that it isn't.
I can't believe you're descended from that. He seemed like such.
I know. I was so disappointed. I was like, really? Like,
Really?
the guy who would tell me to go look something up, and really, like, I'm hearing this from you.
Greetings, humans. We're an ancient space-faring alien civilization, and we're here to tell you how to plant crops better.
See, John, you had a great idea. A start of a great idea. What we need to do is come up with a list of words and/or phrases that should no longer be allowed in the English language. And that's one of them. You know, there's no evidence that there isn't. You know, we should just make a list, send it to OED, and have them strike those words from the dictionary.
I think
Yeah,
my
just give 'em a
mom
little
believes in
golf
ancient
clap.
aliens.
Mom
Really?
believes in ancient aliens? Wow. My grandmother was a vaccine nutter before I was born.
A what?
Vaccine nut.
A vaccine. Okay.
Yeah, she didn't let my mom get a polio vaccine with the belief that it will just give you polio. So,
Holy
yeah,
crap.
there's that. I'm lucky I'm here, frankly.
That's not one you want to mess around with.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in her day and age. She was born in 1949. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, we are all many of us descended from. I can't believe it.
I do remember as a kid, my dad and some of his friends were sitting around smoking pot, so they're all stoned off their minds and talking about how maybe it's true that credit cards are the mark of the beast.
Oh, come on.
Set a bunch of guys with no credit cards.
Hey, you know, there's this girl I heard about, some girl who was going to run in a race somewhere.
Yep. I just read that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she got the number 666, and then she refuses to run with it.
Nice.
There was a group of people
Numbers can't be turned upside
I think
down.
it's in Louisiana, somewhere, where the phone company assigned their region a prefix of 666, and they all started to move and/or petition the phone company to change it.
I would love a number like that. I'm Star Brady.
I used to, when I lived in Connecticut, when I was a kid growing up, that was my number, 666-9406. I still remember it. Now it's gone away.
Wow.
I can't remember what it was that I ordered, but there was something I got for a while that at McDonald's that always came out to $6.66 after tax. I thought that was pretty clever. So.
Wow.
Actually, I do have my cell phone has 666 in it. So
All right.
I'm
Wow,
on
that's
there.
so cool.
I would answer the phone. Darkness Incorporated. This is Mephistopheles. Can I help you?
Beelzebub, how may I help you?
Gay Satan's abortatorium.
I'm sorry, Lucifer's not in right now. Can I take a message?
That's so funny. As a kid, as a very sarcastic, terrible child, I answered the phone like, Abby's abortion clinic, you Ravenway's favorite, like, douche like I was. And, yeah, it was my dad's boss.
Oh, God.
Boss.
And then start screaming, put your hand over the phone a little bit and then let out a few blood-curdling screams. And...
Shut her up!
Oh, my God. Ah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
So today's hangout, we have all established we are terrible people.
I am definitely a terrible person.
Hey, now. I just have an inappropriate sense of humor.
Hey, if you're her other half, or vice versa, then you are also.
This is true.
If I've listened to both of you, or I've listened to you today. All right, so there's that.
Oh, speaking of ancient aliens and all that good stuff, I have a friend of mine who's actually in my little local atheist meetup group who, I don't know if you heard about the Paradigm Symposium.
No, what's that?
No, it's kind of a big conglomeration of a bunch of different pseudoscientists to talk about all sorts of weird, like there's a guy who gave a speech. The Virtual Skeptics group did a talk about this like last week or the week before in one of their little things. But there was a guy who talked about tulpas, which are this traditional concept of a thought form. It's something that you bring to life by thinking about it, and I don't know. But that's the quality of scientific research that was being presented at this place, though, that these are actual things, and that if you think about like aliens or Bigfoot or Loch Ness Monster, if it becomes too large in the public consciousness, then it'll spontaneously become a real thing.
Is that like The Secret, kind of like paranormal version of The Secret?
Kind of. So that's the sort of thing that's being promoted at this place. And a buddy of mine gave a speech there, and he's into all this aliens like came and visited primitive societies 3,000 years ago, and we see this sudden jump in people's ability to use language and technology and all this, and that's because the aliens gave them all this sort of knowledge of the universe, and this tribe in Africa somewhere has this pictographic language that doesn't have any translation into English, and somehow he's coming up with translations of it and saying that, oh, see this symbol here? This is the event horizon of a black hole, and really it's like a dot with a circle around it. So, he's a great guy, but he's kind of kooky.
Sounds like a TED talk for idiots.
Like, people got really drunk and was like, okay, so what if Heisenberg's uncertainty principle actually meant this?
Wouldn't it be weird if, that sort of thing.
Well, they should do that. They should do like because it is. It sounds like a TED talk for idiots. They should do. They should do a book.
TEDx Paranormal.
TED for idiots.
Yeah, it's a kind of a.
They call them Ned Talks.
Ned Talks.
He's also a proponent of this theory that Venus formed as the result of a comet flying through Jupiter 6,000 years ago. And that the Jewish Christian whatever creation story is really the story of how Venus came to be, and the Bible is all technically true, but it's like telling analogies or mythologized versions of supernatural events that were taking place because of aliens and.
Yeah, this is like the Christians that tell me that Revelation it's obviously must be from God because it clearly describes thermonuclear war and the second law of thermodynamics and what have you. Yeah,
that's like the people who also claim that the story of Sodom and Gomorrah describes in like really mind-blowing detail a nuclear blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's. I had I want to read something, but let me look it up first real quick here. Because I was just thinking, it would have really sucked in biblical time.
Oh my God! I'm sorry, I just went to the website for this symposium I was talking about, and it says as featured on Ancient Aliens. So.
Oh no! That's quite the endorsement, ringing endorsement.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's this verse, and then just a weird point I want to. This is out of this is when we were talking about, is God moral? It's out of 1 Samuel 15:1-3, and just the last half of the verse says, God speaking here, it says, "Now go and strike Amalek and utterly destroy all that he has. Do not spare him, but put to death both man and woman, child and infant, ox and sheep, camel and donkey." What does God have against ox, sheep, camels, and donkeys? You've already killed all the people.
Man, those four-legged mammals are dicks.
Yeah, look at the Isaac and Ishmael and all that ends up getting a goat, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I could see killing the livestock if you left the people alive, kind of as a way to punish them. But once you've killed all the people, what the freak point is there in killing the sheep? All right. Anyway.
The sheep weren't making warm, fuzzy sweaters fast enough, I guess.
I don't know. The oxen. I don't know.
Actually,
just bizarre.
Do a better job.
It seemed like you could use the ox and the sheep and the whatever, but.
They
were you call the little girl virgins for yourself. That's the fun part of that whole thing.
Yeah.
They were heathen sheep. They would, when you weren't looking, they'd be like, "God sucks."
They turned away from their Lord Yahweh.
Okay.
Being raped by those same people.
Yeah.
They turned away from the Lord Yahweh and turned to Baal.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. What did the ox?
Well done. I'm proud of myself for that. Like, that's awesome.
Yes,
I will now take credit for all your cleverness. Like, yep. Hey, dumbass, what are you up to lately? Do promote your stuff. I want to hear all about it. Before we go, because John's gonna wrap it up, and I'll be like, damn it, I wanted to ask him about that.
I've just joined up with the Amateur Skeptics, so I'm doing episodes with them every couple of weeks. I'm going to record another one on Monday.
Okay.
I'm putting out more episodes now. I've got a new one up at my Dumbass's Guide to Knowledge at dumbassguide.info, and I'm putting the finishing touches on another episode that I'm hoping to get out soon.
Great.
And I'll be that's at dumbassguide.info. And then my Invisible Sky Monster podcast, I'm getting more stuff going there. Got a few guests lined up. InvisibleSkyMonster.com. And I've got a bunch of friends. You can see all the stuff in my Dumbass Media empire at dumbassmedia.info.
You are a busy, busy man.
Yeah, no kidding. Making our conspiracy guide expert here looking like a slacker.
Ouch! Hey.
Well, on that derogatory note, Mike, how about you tell us about your next episode?
Yeah. I'm a huge fan. I will now suddenly disappear now. See what happens? You know it was a conspiracy. If I do suddenly disappear, a conspiracy of one. Are there any? Oh, that's a quick question, Mike Buller. Are there any conspiracies of one? Is there anybody who's just one guy who doesn't even bother to recruit other people?
David Icke? Does anybody buy David Icke's bullshit?
Yeah, some people do, though.
I don't know. Because usually it's,
Obama probably.
Oh, yeah, the whole weather thing. He probably can't do that alone, though. That's probably
Thanks, Obama.
My coffee got cold this morning before I was done drinking it. Thanks, Obama.
What did Bill Maher call him? Chocolate Jesus? I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my god. And there's my racist comment of the episode. There has to be at least one per episode.
So yes, Mr. Bowler, your podcast.
Podcast. Yes, I have a podcast.
Yeah, what's next?
Well,
After the JFK stuff is all done and the Warren Commission and all that.
First of all, you got to realize I am a member of the Dumbass Media Empire, so
yes.
I'm very much part of Mr. Dumbass kicking ass out there.
That's Sir Dumbass to you.
Sir, well, Mr. It's Mr. I didn't.
Okay.
I don't rank that.
I refer to myself as your friendly neighborhood dumbass.
Friendly neighborhood.
Lord Dumbassington of Dumbassville.
I thought that was funny.
No,
Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. That's from, I can't remember one, but it's a podcast I used to listen to a lot. It's funny. Like, Friendly Neighborhood Atheist. Like, yeah, we don't all eat babies, just some of us.
So, Mike, what's coming up next?
Oh.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. More JFK, Mafia, and Lyndon Johnson. And then probably after that will be a wrap-up show. Of all the JFK stuff I've done.
Very cool.
So I just had the gauntlet thrown down. Find something else to interject before he's done. Like, oh, you have to cover this too. Here's another angle you didn't cover, Mike. You can start that episode with, Damn you, John. Now I have to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've done far better research on that than I have, though. So.
Have you heard about JFK marrying an alien? I saw it on the front page of the Weekly World News once.
What?
I saw it a couple of weeks ago on, what was it?
You were on World Not Daily, you know it.
No, I was at the store, and there was a newspaper there, if you will, that had a whole new expose. A whole new expose. It's finally solved. The JFK conspiracy finally solved.
I saw that too. I didn't read it.
I find it funny you refer to that as the paper.
The paper.
The paper contains facts.
Lamont.
If you've ever read the paper here in Oklahoma City, yeah, it's about as quality. So.
What? I didn't see that. I wanted to see that. What? You guys have a loony paper, or is like your mainstay paper is loony?
I don't know if loony's the right way to put it, but certainly opinionated.
Well, that's not nearly as funny. I was hoping it was like the World Not Daily. Like that's awesome.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not that great.
The ORU Times Free Press.
That would be awesome.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
What the heck is this sooner? Like,
It's not a later.
I guess we'll wrap it up with that. Keep it at about an hour. So thank you everyone for joining us today. This was an awesome and terrible talk.
Yes, fantastic.
And we will.
Now I know more about horse semen than I ever wanted to.
No.
Next week I'll be traveling next Saturday, so we might have to do it on Sunday, or you guys can do it without me. So one of the
No.
You're competing with the PS4 for me next weekend, buddy.
Oh yeah. There's that.
Don't rub that in. That's I'm the reason he doesn't have one. So don't rub that in.
I wasn't getting a PlayStation anyway, so.
So you say.
Fine, I don't want a PlayStation.
I would have gotten an Xbox. But that's where all my friends are. So anyway.
You can't spare an hour for us. Fine. We know where we stand. Just saying.
I could do it from the highway, so here I am driving along.
Here I am.
Brandy, don't forget, by next Saturday there's going to be a quiz on that video, so...
Absolutely. I'm going to watch 4 hours of that. No, I watched probably a half.
I just want to skip
Well, divvy your time up, because
part.
it's pretty civil in the beginning. It's not till later that the fun starts, so...
Yeah, I want to skip ahead to the parts where he's screaming at the camera. That's what I want to do.
We're
fast
There are a
forward.
number of those.
Are we still allowed to say fast forward even though that's not a thing anymore? Like scrub forward doesn't have the same kind of effect.
I hadn't thought about that.
Listen, I
Well,
just bought
Matt,
a...
thanks for joining us. It was good to have you. Hopefully we didn't drive
Yes.
you away.
All right, guys, we'll see y'all later.
All right, take care, everyone.
Later.
Ciao.
Toodles.
Bye.